Hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Steven and Sarah from the Princess and Scoundrel channel. Dano can steal our intro. We can steal his.
What is going on, everybody?
You good?
I was scrambling at the end right there.
Yeah, you are. I'm sweaty. I've been wearing the sweater all day because it's been freezing in Texas.
So cold.
Literally freezing.
Can't handle it. Can't handle it.
My limbs are ready to snap
Welcome,
off.
Dano, Galen, Danny, Nick, Thomas,
Zach, Jason.
Patrick,
Oh, lots of people in
Zachary,
here.
Jason. Hello. Hello, everyone.
All our friends are here. I'm so excited. Oh my God, it's so hot up here though right now. I think we we're in scramble mode.
Well, we're not in the outside now.
We're not in the outside. We're in the inside.
We're in the inside. But yeah, no, I was like scrambling because Sarah's doing getting the hype,
mothering.
the hype man of getting the Instagram going. And I think as soon as you do that, it puts me into like,
oh my gosh,
anxiety mode. Yeah. And then I forgot
Mike,
my water. So I'm like running at the very end to get my water. So
and then Mike just comes in just like a bull in a china shop.
saying all the things.
Like, he's like, hey, let me get in there.
I don't think my eyes could have popped out even more.
For the record, never once was
that was
there.
a bad impression, Dano said.
It was. You know what? I didn't know when we were going live we had this whole bit we were gonna do. It didn't work out.
Heroes here too. Christine.
Everybody's here.
So yeah, we're back. It's a bit weirder having like this on in the middle of the week, but I like it because if it's again the way our pattern is of working.
Yeah.
So it feels like I could get in full mode, like creator mode. Basically.
Our weekends feel more like weekends now because we're not using our Friday. Well,
no,
we're not using every Friday to like record something because the way we were doing it before is like we would record an episode one Friday and then we would go live the next Friday. So for us, it was consistent. But for like what we were putting out, it wasn't consistent. Yeah. So it feels weird. We've also had to like.
Well, this is I think the bit like we're just
we're still not in our groove yet. So we had to like pre-record this next episode.
Well, let's go back a little bit. So, as you all know, one of our favorite mechanics is leaving, right? And I don't know if you others out there have followed him giving his message of saying goodbye. We're talking about Sage, right? Talking about Sage Starkey. He was on Star Cruiser. Mm-hmm. He's now in All Ears.
Yep.
And we had reached out to him to do an interview, and it was like perfect timing, right?
Yeah, he's a friend of ours.
Yeah. Perfect timing because he was saying goodbye, and it was like right in that time, and he was like open to it.
Yeah.
So we had the conversation, the greatest conversation. That's what I'm gonna say is like the greatest conversation ever.
It was a really
that will never see the light of day.
Yeah, it was a really good episode. And we had wanted to have Sage on the show. Oh, my iPad's in view. We'd wanted to have him on the show before because he was also taking on the role of another character on Star Cruiser. And we knew that was happening ahead of time. And I was like, okay, once he gets settled in that role, I think it would be great to have him on and talk about, just what he can talk about.
Yeah.
We filmed the episode.
And we kind of got the word that, hey,
maybe don't get too far in that edit. And I mean, it's understandable. Like we went through something similar with when we interviewed Beth Revis, the author of The Princess and the Scoundrel.
I think this right here is like, and this is why I wanted to talk about it, because this is like to me, for us, it's very new about the whole concept of like, if we are going to interview someone within the realm of these huge companies, when they have, I don't think it's necessarily NDAs. It could be NDAs, but with, Lucasfilm and Disney, you have to watch what you say.
They don't play.
And so like with Beth, we had to send our questions ahead of time.
Yeah, we worked with her publisher or publicist And so we had initially started talking to Beth, and she was like, hey, I'm going to defer you to the publicist. And then we worked with the publicist for months.
Yeah.
Like months before the book came out.
Which it could have been something that we, again, could have had even further ahead of time. And I think it was just like scheduling. It was a scheduling thing too. Remember, because we were on Star Cruiser when we probably could have, because it was like that, right? That same time that the book was getting released.
Yeah, we went on Star Cruiser the week before the book came out. And so we actually, because we got advanced copies of it, we got to read it while we were on Star Cruiser, which was really cool in our like 2 minutes of downtime. But I was like, I have to read this book while I'm on Star Cruiser because it's set here. And then, yeah, just the way that things aligned, getting approvals, we didn't actually... Did we record it before?
No, I think she got sick as well. So it was like, it got pushed.
Like,
it was just like scheduling conflicts until it was like the point. Got to have that interview. Super excited for that.
Great.
And kind of the same thing with Sage. We talked to him and said, yeah, let's do this. And again, he's got to talk to his people. And they were like, well, let's hold off on it for now.
Yeah. So it's in like limbo, I guess I would say. Like it may not. We may be able to put it out.
It'll be one of our lost episodes one day. One day we put it out and it's just like, here's a lost episode. I think like now it's almost like I do want to put it up in a trunk and just say, okay, whenever we get the go ahead,
here it is,
release it. It's just a lost episode type of thing. And like, remember the day.
The other thing is you did cut out a lot that we thought was like,
yeah, exactly.
That we thought would maybe not make it. Like we were like, okay, let's be really conservative with this and like edit it to a point where nobody should get in trouble, because we considered that too when we were asking the question. Yeah, and he was the same. All of us were like, we don't want anybody to get in trouble here. Yeah, but that's okay. It happens. I know I think he was like talking to a few different podcasts. Yeah,
and that was another thing. Like we saw like us kind of say, get that heads up. And there was another podcast out there that
I think they had published their episode.
Yeah, because I think they kind of do like the more of a live type of thing.
And they had to pull it. Yeah. So at least with ours, we just stayed silent for a couple weeks. We're like, we had to re-record something real fast. You threw that.
Okay, so Zach. Yeah, so I don't know what was said on that one. And again, he was fairly decent about what he was talking about. There wasn't any like secrets, but again, it's Disney and yeah, and we wanted to be respectful. Like we're not trying to again go do anything that could hurt us in any way, right? But it's definitely interesting just to the fact that you do have to kind of work in the future if you do plan on having that type of stuff. So like that's an aspect that we have to start learning, is like if we do want to have this, and especially time sensitive or just time pertinent to a certain time, you got to start thinking that far ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I think one of the things, like up to the point of like interviewing Beth Revis, we had just interviewed our friends. Yeah. So it wasn't like a big thing. It was just like, hey, are you free Friday? So it's a learning curve. Yeah. And that's okay. We're learning. I mean, we're still like barely a year into this thing. So we'll be.
I know.
We're not doing that. But yeah, so that was. So yeah, the last episode 2, where we talked about all of the updates that have happened since Bob Iger returned.
Old Biger.
And if there was like true value or perceived value for all of these changes. That episode was really a result of, we need an episode. And it was an episode we wanted to, like a topic we wanted to discuss.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Again, that's when we start like, okay, well, we want to talk about this at this time. So we got to like start doing the shuffle.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of shuffles, but we have already pre-recorded. So that's why it just feels weird. It feels like you've been editing like a ton, because you edited
3.
Yeah, you've edited 3 episodes in like the last week. A Patreon exclusive on vinyl. I mean, it's not that trackable, right?
That's a VHS.
It was a good episode. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've been editing a ton. We're still not quite on our normal schedule, but we'll get there.
Yeah. No, it's, I think the thing is like, especially with editing, if you're doing it constantly, like you're just kind of, you know, just in that realm, it becomes second nature.
That's good.
So, and then I've like come up with a, you know, so I use like a Stream Deck. If you've never heard of it or seen it, something like this. And it basically makes like macros for anything on your computer. And a lot of Photoshop and Premiere, I have shortcuts instead of using the key, which they have keyboards that you can have shortcuts, but the ones that I use all the time, I just got like a claw on it, like I'm playing a video game. So I'm like hunched over, have the mouse in my hand and just like watching. I feel like I'm watching audio, like waves. That's seriously how you almost edit, is like more of the audio waves than the actual, the video. So
yeah, I come in at the end when you've like already done most of the editing and watch it. But I do see the claw sometimes. Hey, Peter's in here.
Hey, what's going on, Peter?
Hours later. That's intense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you just kind of like get in a zone, and I think when I come out of it is like when I come down, I'm like, okay, like where am I?
Not come down. You literally like go downstairs.
Yeah, go downstairs.
Like, whoa, bro.
No. Like when I go downstairs, I'm just kind of like, okay, where am I? What am I doing? Let me get some water and get my eyes like unfocused.
Yeah.
So,
like look further in the distance.
Yeah.
Like when they tell you like it's bad for your eyes to just look right here.
Oh yeah, my eyes definitely go, cross-eyed.
So in our last episode though, and one of the things that we want to do with our live streams in the New Year is have it a little more, not necessarily structured, but certain things that we want to talk about. So one of the things we want to talk about is news since our last
News episode.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like since our last live, which was 2 weeks ago, but then we talked about news updates. So it's really like the last week's worth of.
There's still new stuff like keeps dropping.
So I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, there's no, I was like, there was nothing this week because we had 2 weeks in a row. If typically Disney drops their big announcements on Tuesdays, and there was 2 weeks in a row where it was just like all the info.
I think the biggest thing that just like pops in my head is we were so excited for Happily Ever After. I'm so excited for it still.
I am.
But then, what is it? The
Wondrous Journeys.
Wondrous Journeys. Baymax flying around. I'm like again, they just.
You sent it to me with like a side eye, like. And like I know that means that you're really excited for it, but I also the reason you sent me that face was like I want to go to there.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Flights are expensive. Spill the HEA.
It's amazing looking. Like, again, I think the thing is like, it's just so cool that they're still able to just kind of like get you excited about something.
And that like we live in the time where we get to experience these kinds of
well,
things.
they were able to do it. I think that's the thing is like, we're able to just say, oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Should we?
We've been debating a spring break trip, and it's just like those flights aren't getting any cheaper. But there's so many good things to see over there. So Baymax is over at Disneyland as part of Wondrous Journeys, which is the new nighttime spectacular for the Disney 100. It looks so good. So we'll start with Disney 100, which was at the bottom of my news list.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm just like that. I was that excited about it. Like
I made the notes.
Well, see, and the thing is, I haven't. Like I know there's videos out there of it, and I don't want to watch it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to watch. Like I know it, and I know that moment that's coming.
Yeah.
But I want to see it like
you want to experience it because it's like watching Happily Ever After for the first time, and you're just like overwhelmed.
So
we have not watched too much of that. There's another nice time. There's another what's it called?
I'm working on Ordena.
On what?
On a Universal
the trip. You don't have to work nothing. Like it's that poor credit card. That thing is hot right now. This final payment for Star Cruiser. We just processed that one. Phew, that was hot. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, the other nighttime spectacular is World of Color 1. So typically it's World of Color at Disney's California Adventure, but for the Disney 100, they've revamped it. It's World of Color 1. And there's a Star Wars segment. It's so good too. It is so good. Think of the points.
The points.
So I haven't seen all of World of Color 1.
Okay.
But I did watch the Star Wars segment because Brooke, I pretty much got most of my Disney 100 like snippets because I don't want to see the whole thing from Brooke's stories.
Okay.
It's just long enough that I'm like, okay, like I can't ruin the whole
Gets you enticed.
15-minute show. Yeah. So that looks good. And then Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened up at Disneyland.
It did.
And I've heard, I don't know if Peter's still in here. I heard the queue is different. And I heard the queue might be better at Disneyland.
Well, we never went through the Great Movie Ride.
No.
But I think the queue is pretty much this, like they just rethemed it, whereas over there it's actually themed.
I'm assuming it's a whole new building over there, but I don't want to watch it because I just want
The queue.
Yeah, I want to experience all those things like new because we know the ride.
I think for the queue it's more of like
Dano, something better at Disneyland.
No, I think the queue, like the videos that I watched of the queue it's more of like you're really gonna want to hang out there to find like, oh, look what this
like
means, whatever. So
we did miss Great Movie Ride, so it was only open. We've only been going to the Disney parks for the last like 5 years, and coming up on 6 years. It'll be 6 years in April. And so our first trip to the parks, we weren't there for that many days, and that was the only trip that it was open. The next
at the very first one.
Yeah. The next trip we took, it had already been closed. So. Nope. Yes. Way better. Whoa.
Has props are so cool.
All right. That's it. We got to go to Disneyland now.
Well, and again, I think the Rise of Resistance queue it's weird because there's a lot.
Is the queue?
There's a lot, but there's not, right?
Yeah, but it's just so immersed. like you're immersed in that.
Yeah, to me that feels a lot different because there's not crazy things to look at, but it moves you along, type of thing. I don't know. It's weird to. I feel like Over the Galaxy's Edge is just different.
It's different.
I think Smuggler's Run is probably a more entertaining queue.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're seeing stuff like the entire way. So.
If your mom has DAS, the Rise queue, you will miss a good amount of the queue, but you'll be fine. There are benches in the Rise queue. I was going to say that. I was like, you could sit down in Rise. That's pretty nice. But yeah, so that's the news over at Disneyland. It was Disney 100. There's tons of new food over there. Peter and Kitra did a video on some of the new food over there, and like that little parfait that Kitra had, like the little cherry cheesecake one. Like I just want that. We're watching what we eat right now, and so watching Peter and Kitra's videos is just like. It's just like our way to like live vicariously.
It's where you smell the food, you smell the good food, and then eat the healthy food.
And then we'll talk about it. We're like, oh man, that elote corn chowder that Kitra goes on and on about. It's working. We've been pretty good. And speaking of that, like we've been pretty good on our eating better. I made more wellness shots this morning.
Yeah, we've been doing that pretty much every day now.
It's been every day for about a month. My hands are stained. Not so much anymore. But my hands were yellow this morning. I looked like jaundiced because we did, what was it? Fresh turmeric, which is like orange, but it just like stains your skin yellow. And when you're wringing out, we don't have a juicer. We're lo-fi. So we blend it up and then put it in a cheesecloth and like wring it out. My hands were stained.
Same here. Man, I was seeing those videos. You're just like, oh my gosh, they make it look so good. Speaking of lo-fi, you saw that they had Disney's getting into the lo-fi game. They have like that
You've been
Disney.
keeping up with that.
Well, because like you get the email of them having that mini lo-fi.
Yeah.
And then just recently they had a Star Wars one. So I was like, it's funny that they're getting into that game, but it's nice because you could just like put that on at work and it's just like,
Just chill.
yeah, doing spreadsheets and stuff. You're good.
Just doing spreadsheets. No big deal. I am Geek's covered in, he's eating powdered. Oh man. If they're little.
Yeah.
I did watch a TikTok where it was like, rather than calling it like healthy food and junk food, you should call them like always foods and sometimes foods. And I was like, I like that. Like you can eat the bad things sometimes.
Yeah.
We've done that. We made conchas from scratch.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was fun. Yeah.
So if you don't know what conchas are, it's like a Mexican sweet bread. And we used to call them turtleback bread.
Yeah, that's a good description of it.
My dad's white, and it looks like a little turtle, like the back shell of a turtle. They're delicious. And they actually came out pretty good. I was very, very proud of us.
And balanced diet. There you go, Danny.
There you go. Balance. Okay, let's go through some of the other news. We were talking about Hollywood Studios. Announcement today is that there are new characters out and about. I don't know if all of them are doing meet and greets or if it's just like that they're out kind of like at Epcot where they're like hanging out in the grass. But one of the meet and greets is Max Goof in his Powerline costume.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Like I'm excited. So
I'm so excited. So it's Max. They have, and then a bunch of Incredibles characters. So Mr. and Mrs. Incredible.
yeah, I mean they have
What is it?
the town over there.
What's that town called?
I don't remember what it was called.
Metropolis. I forget what you called it earlier. But it is not the cruise.
What's going on, Mike?
It's not the cruise version of Mr. and Mrs. Incredible.
The scary one.
I mean, no knocks to the actors that are portraying those characters, but it's just so strange to me that for the Pixar Days at Sea, so the Pixar Days at Sea, they have Incredibles characters, but they're face characters, and they look like they still have the huge, massive bodies of the costumes that have the head.
The caricatures.
Yes. But then their heads look so small. Like they look so
because they're the human heads.
Because it's a human head on like this big. It's so strange to me. But anyway, these are like the regular ones with the covered head. You got Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, Frozone, and Edna Mode.
The whole crew.
And then Donald and Daisy. But then they're for the foreseeable future, they're out there. They're not temporary. And then for like the first 2 weeks of February, there's a couple of like temporary ones for Valentine's Day.
That's nice for Hollywood Studios getting those meet and greets like that.
Yeah. It's needed. So the temporary ones are Chip and Dale with Clarice and Goofy, which is kind of strange that like Goofy's temporary if Max is going to be there all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway.
I wonder if it's going to be Max and Powerline all the time or is it just going to be Max?
I don't know. But Goofy's got like a little Aloha shirt on. It's cute. What was I going to say about? Oh, but the thing is like, so you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, Donald and Daisy are like up in that balcony when you first walk in.
Yeah.
Which they're often.
Yeah. Most of the time.
Most of the time they're there, right? Yeah. But you're getting at least 4 new opportunities to see characters that you didn't have before. And that's so needed at Hollywood Studios because it's going to spread people out more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're more kind of like Disneyland character interactions where they're not back behind, like there's a queue to meet them or anything. They're just kind of out.
Yeah.
It's not going to be something that you can get a Genie Plus for because Genie Plus is like notoriously difficult to use at Hollywood Studios because there's so few attractions there. But this gives people something to do if they can't get a Genie Plus or a Lightning Lane reservation. So
that'd be good.
It's good news.
Yeah.
Some other news. Do we have anything? I have to see those Incredibles characters. They look like Party City costume characters. They act really well. Like they're really good. Yeah. They're doing their job as good as they can, but just the costume design is so bizarre.
I think, and that's the thing is like you get so used to not face characters, so whenever you do see the face characters, you're always like standoffish. And I think that's with any of them. Like you know,
they're not gonna look like the movie.
yeah, I think the best ones are the Marvel characters because again, we're used to them being real, like actual people that, you know,
Because they're not animated, is that
yeah.
what you're saying?
Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing is like, you know, when we think of that character, we think of them as animated, but the Marvel characters, they're real.
They're
So,
just people. Yeah, that
so
makes sense.
you put the costume on it and it works.
So they did have, Julie brings up, they had Sweetheart Night at Disneyland, like an after hours party, and they had a Jafar, and he looked really good.
Yeah.
He looked really, really good. And I know sometimes they'll do Jafar not as a face character, but this one was good.
I could see them doing more of like the Ernesto de la Cruz,
Oh, that was so
where it's
good.
like silicone makeup type of stuff.
I'm so mad I didn't go see that in person.
That one would have been really cool to see.
Yeah, Jafar looked good. A Max Rebo Funko. We saw the helmet.
The helmet, I'm keeping an eye out because I've got to make an order on that. So
When can you pre-order?
I don't know.
Probably like a Friday, I'm guessing.
Maybe. They announced it today, so I'm surprised they didn't have it where you could pre-order.
I'm
But
surprised too. Gonna have to clean those shelves out back there. All right, a couple other things. And these are like really, I'm not going to go through all of them, but it is Black History Month. And so at Disney World, they do this thing called Celebrate Soulfully. And they do a bunch of different things. And here was the one that really stood out to me. It's only for a few days, but it's from February 3rd to 5th. There are 2 people that are the founders of this photography company that are going to be in the American Adventure Pavilion at Epcot. And they're showcasing, like reimagining the Disney princesses as if they were Black, but like full, like culturally appropriate. They look really good. The pictures are fantastic.
so they photos or are they like paintings?
They almost looked like Barbies, but it says through dolls, costumes, and photographic prints.
Okay, so it's just like all over.
So it's a gallery exhibit. They've got life-size dresses, natural hairstyled wigs. Like, sounds really cool.
It's like I'm trying to think of what it's called. Like when you go to a gallery, like it's a whole
like an exhibit.
Yeah, like an exhibit.
Yeah, but as if all of the Disney princesses were Black,
Yeah.
were African American, and what they would look like in that style.
Yeah,
Super cool. And then they're doing they do Disney on Broadway concert series right there at that, I forget what the amphitheater is called, right there in front of the American Pavilion, but they're doing they're going to have Black Broadway performers. They're having Michael James Scott. I think that's the genie from Aladdin. He's really good. And then they've got some magic shots. So if you buy Memory Maker, they've got Tiana at Tiana's Place, Penny and the Proud Family. That's
cool.
back now. Or is it Prouder Family, I think?
The new show.
Yeah. And then like a soul one. But then here's where I think your ears are going to perk up. They're going to have shrimp and grits at Tiffin's in Animal Kingdom. They've got like a bunch of different like food offerings, but it's all throughout the resorts. So they've got like a margarita milkshake that has like king cake on top of it. I'm like, oh man, the diet.
The diet.
The diet. Gumbo, a pineapple mule cocktail. Peter would like that. What else? I think that's about it. And then, so that's it. That's all I found on like celebrating soulfully. But then they also announced who's going to be at the Garden Rocks concert series. So for every festival, they typically will do concerts as well. So they call this one Garden Rocks, which is silly because it's the Flower and Garden Festival.
Okay. I was like, where are they going?
It's not
with
Eat to the Beat. Eat to the Beat is Food and Wine. I forget what they call the one for Festival of the Arts. It could just be like Disney on Broadway, but this one's Garden Rocks. But there's some weird ones.
Can't spell diet.
Absolutely true. But there were some weird ones on here. Wang Chung is closing out.
So it's just a good time.
It's just a good time. Blue Oyster Cult, Smash Mouth. Journey, former lead vocalist.
It's not the whole band.
And then I think this, not quite the last bit of news, but I think probably one of the ones that's most exciting for us, and we talked about this in our last episode, which is Tron, finally.
Oh,
Tron
man.
opening.
We're seeing so much Tron stuff now.
So much Tron stuff. So they released this week 4 things you need to know before Tron opens on 4/4.
So I think the funny thing is like when they're putting these videos out, whereas you're kind of like, well, that's self-explanatory. That's self-explanatory because again, we're kind of in that realm, so we know. But this is also when we talk about like Star Cruiser or any of these new things, you're like, they didn't give us enough information. They're doing that now.
They're doing that with Tron. I mean, think about it. The marketing team has had years to perfect it.
Oh, you got to give them one more dig, huh?
So 4 things you need to know. Number 1, it is virtual queue.
I like that.
So just like Cosmic
I like
Rewind.
it when at the very beginning, the way they do it, the virtual queue is cool because it gives like everybody a chance to get there.
So what they haven't said yet, and this is interesting. So number 1 and number 2 are kind of the same one, which is it's going to be, it's a 404 error. Number 1 and number 2 are basically how to experience the ride. You can either get in on the virtual queue, or number 2 is you can buy the individual lightning lane. But typically, the way that they've been structuring it so far is that is the case for the newest ride at all 4 of the parks. So right now it's Cosmic Rewind. When Tron opens on April 4th, does Cosmic Rewind then just become a standby and an individual lightning lane and the virtual queue goes away? That would be my guess.
Yeah. I wish they had each of the big rides, the virtual queue, just because, again, it's very much like...
Yes and no, because if they have more than one virtual queue, you got to pick at 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gives, because everybody's going to be going to Magic Kingdom, whereas like if you have virtual queue for Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, now each park has like a good big ride, that top one.
That's true.
So boom, you spread everybody out. Everybody, virtual queue, like you pick where you want to go, and then, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's what I would want.
You're turning me to that. Okay, I can get on board.
But yes, that. I think they're gonna do like how you're saying, where they're gonna get rid of the virtual queue, put it to.
Right, but then the other thing is that because Tron is in Magic Kingdom right now, the individual lightning lane purchase is for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which I will then also assume that will go away when Tron opens up, and so the only way Seven Dwarfs Mine Train will then become part of regular Genie Plus.
You think?
That's what I think.
That's a big one to be part of just the regular one.
Really? I mean, it's been open a long time. Ratatouille is part of regular Genie Plus.
Yeah, I guess so.
Rise of the Resistance is... Well, no, it's not.
No. So do they still have 2 per...
One.
Just 1 per park?
So they had initially, when they started with Genie Plus for like the first 6 months, they did 2. And then they were like, oh, people don't like that. Let's just do the top 1, but we'll only do it for a certain amount of time till August 8th. And then August 8th came around. They're like, you know what? We'll leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Which I think is needed. Okay, number 3 on the list of Tron. Lockers. This is the first ride at Disney that requires lockers, which is interesting because that means that it's going to be more intense, more of a roller coaster than anything else that you get at Disney. Because when you go to Universal Studios, and like we haven't been together in a long time, but I went a few months ago for work. And you had to put your stuff in lockers for almost every big ride.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more so you don't have, things flying off.
And I think what they said is like...
And it looks like it's free with your pass, so it's for, a limited time. So
yeah, they're free.
It's not a thing where you're having to pay for it.
They're free. And it seems like they're just regular lockers, so it's probably going to be somewhere central to like when you enter the queue, and then when you exit, you have to come back that same way. And then it says there's going to be small compartments on the actual ride vehicle for you to put like glasses
little phone.
and phone.
That's
like
what I think Danny was talking about, the little phone pocket.
Yeah. So like you can't carry like any bags. So whatever you have in your pockets is fine to go through the queue with, but anything bigger than that you can't, because there's no way, I guess, with the way the ride vehicle is, which is interesting. But the cool thing was at Velocicoaster in Universal Studios, they had a locker and you have to like tap in, put your locker, like put your stuff in there, and then you're on one level, and I don't know how they did it, but I think it would literally like take your stuff down a level. Like it would like elevator your stuff. And so when you got off the ride, or maybe it elevatored up, and when you got off the ride, you had to know what your number was, and you go into a completely different part of the building, and you go get your stuff out of there. It was bizarre. Yeah, Tron coasters don't have anywhere to put your bag. Used to be an honor system. Was it the backside of the same locker? That would make sense. Ooh, Bad Batch Mama's in here. I don't know. It was impressive to me.
Okay, so it's just the backside, Sarah.
Well, you know what? Color me impressed. A two-way locker? Because the way it's set up. You'll have to see it. We'll have to go.
All right.
It's for work.
It's going to be funny if it's literally just on the opposite side. I'm like, oh my God.
There was like a security. Listen, we had to go through
the
security.
guy was so scary. The kid that's just like, this way, ma'am.
Forget it. Moving on. This one I thought was interesting. The number 4, the fourth one on the list, is Disney PhotoPass photo and video offerings.
Oh, video's cool.
Right. So what does it mean? So the way you do it with ride photo is just like any other one. You're either wearing a Magic Band or you've got your My Disney experience on your phone and it's connected via Bluetooth, and that's how it picks up who you are. But when it says video, is it going to be actual video, or is it like when they take a picture of you at PhotoPass and they like build a video around it? Or is it going to be more like Tower of Terror where it shows that like,
oh, that like
the quick like drop.
Yeah.
And they slow-mo it. I'm guessing it's that.
Yeah, I think.
They're like, I'm sick. I love the Buzz Lightyear ride, but I'm so sick of getting that video every time. It's like, you have saved our planet from the evil Upper Reserve. And it's just like me with my face. Like, I want a video.
Okay, so see, we're going with the Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror.
So.
Okay, so that's it on Tron. We've got, what, 2 months until it opens.
Get ready. Get ready.
And then even before that, kind of like, I don't think this one got the kind of credit that it deserves, and I also think the name of it's not very great, but Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. That's just like a mashup of 3 random words, but that is going to be the new table service restaurant inside Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios. What did I say the name of it was?
The Rodeo Roundup.
Close.
Railway.
Roundup Rodeo Railway. They need more like a catchy name. Like we got Woody's Lunchbox. Why can't you have like Jesse's barbecue joint?
I don't know.
I don't either. But they released like Texas
Well, but
will be
yeah.
the judge. Yeah. I don't know about barbecue outside of the state of Texas. It's like going on vacation and eating like Mexican food. It's like,
I mean, there's different types of barbecue. I
is.
could acknowledge that. It's when someone that doesn't do barbecue is doing barbecue is when you're kind of like, poor thing.
yeah.
Like, oh, sweet thing.
Oh, honey.
Oh, honey. That's what
But yeah, so they've got homemade cheddar biscuits. They actually have like a good amount of like different kinds of salads. They've got just like a meat platter.
Yeah, because they have like there's dry barbecue, wet barbecue.
Bless your heart. There you go. Yeah. But I mean, it looks like just basic barbecue stuff. Somebody said on here that the menu looks similar to Regal Eagle. We've never eaten Regal. Have you eaten? Wait, you've eaten it.
Yeah, that's where I got the
burger.
Yeah.
At a barbecue place.
The best, I guess, fried food or like fried chicken was over at Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Oh my gosh.
So
Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review.
that was some good food right there. Like good Southern food.
Yeah. We had never done that before, and it had opened back up. Oh my God, that's cute though. Look at the little cupcake with Forky on it. Cupcake a la Forky is what it's called. We had never done Hoop-Dee-Doo review, and so we reserved it back when we did Star Cruiser in August, because I remember before Star Cruiser ever opened, the Star Cruiser specialists were telling me they're like, the closest thing to what we have is for Star Cruiser is Hoop-Dee Doo Review, and it was closed at the time. And so when it finally reopened, I was like, we have to go do this. And we're not big on doing like sit down meals, but that was the best time.
Yeah,
that was so much fun.
That was fun.
Like the show itself was really good. All the food was delicious, and it's just like bountiful. Like anything you wanted, it was all good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Polite Pig is good. They had good Brussels sprouts. I remember that. But that was the big news. I don't know how I feel. I'm glad there's another table service restaurant in Hollywood Studios, because I think more dining options in Hollywood Studios are needed, especially on that backside of the park.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that they're just kind of filling it all out.
This is why I added it. Look at all these grown-up beverages. There's a lot.
Gotta love the grown-up beverages.
Frozen peanut butter and jelly.
But while I'm Geeks in here, I wanted to give him a little shout out.
Yeah.
Because he...
this is the coolest.
Yeah. He made us some... He does crystals, a bunch of different type of crystals, but we ended up like hanging out with him last weekend. Mm-hmm. And so hung out, had a good time. But he also made us like these custom crystals.
Oh my gosh, just don't put them in there. They're going to fall out.
Nice little mount.
Here, I'll show it on your camera. So it is... Oh, you can't... You talk over it.
And it's a princess and like Princess Leia and Han, scoundrel colors.
Don't look at my...
Okay, sorry.
There we go.
But yeah, he got two of them. One of them is like just like a basic blue and white, and then the other one is like a glow in the dark.
Yeah, I'll show that one.
Well, I mean, we love some lightsabers over here too, Mike.
I know.
But yeah, he was trying new things out, and he was showing us a bunch of his little crystals that he's making. And, he popped out and said, here, I made these for you guys. So
cool. And he made us like a little
stand for it.
It's a stand that holds both of them.
So,
but this is just like the coolest. Like we haven't even
with dropping stuff. Oh, does that mean we're Dano official?
Ugh. We really are siblings. Something the other day, and it was just like, we posted like almost an identical reel about like going back to Star Cruiser on the same day. I was just like,
you planned it. It was just planned. That was
we
it.
We didn't plan it.
Text
him afterwards.
So it was fun hanging out with him and chatting with him and his little. He has some plans for his podcast, or let him talk about that stuff. But
got some cool stuff on the horizon. So yeah, we've been like shown anything off that we've got lately. So
this is like you see me fidgeting over here. I'm gonna get the full attention.
Go for it.
Man, this was like about a year ago. We watched YouTube Tin Hun, and his name is Peter, another Peter. And he was a musician. He does art, like really cool wall art.
Gorgeous.
Murals and stuff like that. And he ended up he wanted to do this deck of cards. And so he took the community on this journey of the concept behind it, going through the drawings, going into distributors and card makers and box makers and the whole thing, putting it on Kickstarter and put it out there.
Yep.
Blew through his like goals within a day.
Within like an hour.
Yeah, it was nuts. And
I think he raised over like $2 million on this Kickstarter, and he thought he was going to raise like $20,000.
Yeah, it was nothing. And so we ended up ordering it. I was like, I got to get some Tin Hun art in here, and we got the uncut sheet. So it's like the whole deck just uncut, and then he had released like a blood red or
King's blood.
Yeah. So it was like a red version of the same cards. And about a week after, he was like, I'm feeling kind of silly, and puts out a black version.
Yep.
And so we ended up, and it was like 1,000 of those. So we were like, we have to watch it. As soon as it goes on sale, we have to, click it and get it. And so we were fortunate enough to get that, and I want to see it. I want to open it, but then I don't because
open them right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm my will is strong. I'm not going to open it, but I want to see someone open it because I want to see what they look like. And but then there's also, he was saying there was a white version,
Like a chase.
but that was like a true random. Like he was just going to put it in different orders, so you couldn't order those. And so I was like, oh, please, like just by happen, like it'd be in one of my, our boxes or whatever. But no, I think that was like the ordering part, you're really excited. And then it was the work.
Yeah. So,
and he went through some trials.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing behind, and it was two things, right? We kind of talked about this. It was like, there was people, I think they were upset because we hadn't got our product type of thing.
Well, just to stop you. So it went on sale in September, and he thought he was going to be able to ship them by like Christmas
of last year,
of 2021.
Yeah.
And ours just showed up like a week ago.
Yeah.
So it was like a year and a half. So that said.
Yeah. So yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And again, this is like a Kickstarter. So he's going through that whole process and explaining and showing, and, it's going from this person to this person, and they made the cards, they're cutting them, they're putting them in boxes, whatever. And I think during that time, there was, people upset that they hadn't gotten it, and they felt like they were cheated. And there's the part of it where one, we knew, as far as like, if you fund a GoFundMe, or not a GoFundMe, Kickstarter, these are upstarts, like, everything there. They're
literally kickstarting.
Yeah, they're Kickstarter projects. So it's like most of those things are not already formed. They are trying to get all that stuff and working through that stuff.
Right.
So, we know that. We are aware, like, okay, it's going to take some time. And the part of it was, he was very, upfront. Like, he would send messages and saying, hey, this is what I'm running into. Like, I think that was the part where I was like, I'm cool with it. Like, he's letting us know that, hey, there's a delay because of this. There's a delay because of that. But, he put out a couple of videos in the last couple of months, kind of just like, you could tell he was just defeated, where he said it was like one of his greatest things that he wanted to put together. And then it felt like it was the worst decision ever. Yeah. And, and that's disheartening, because then you crush them, right? You kind of like, I don't want to take on that, because it becomes a responsibility. And again, he was, was saying he's doing well. He's going to make sure everybody gets what they ordered, and, everybody's happy and that type of thing. But it's just disheartening when, he gets beat up, and the whole time he's, being upfront, like, hey, this is what's happening. So it just, but yeah, again, I think now everybody got their stuff, or they're pretty close to being done with it. And so I'm happy for him. I'm happy that it may have not gone the way he wanted, but it just makes it, again, that much more sweeter when you do get it. So.
But the other thing, and I think the reason that it was so difficult, is like the quality. Let me see these. So the quality on these cards is ridiculous. So there's like this cutout
on the boxes.
The card.
Yeah.
And then on the special one that we got, there's another cutout.
And they're gold, whatever that's called, like the gold siding on it.
Gilded edges?
Maybe.
I don't know. Like a Bible.
Yeah.
They're beautiful. Like, they're absolutely beautiful. Like, he went all in on making these, like, absolutely gorgeous. And just, like, looking at the uncut sheet, like, we just sat there for, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah, just looking at the detail on it. So that was, like, one of my recent, purchases.
Yeah.
So
recent, but also not so recent.
Gilded. Gilded, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I was like, ugh. So, that's escaping me. But yeah, it was fun to get that in. So it came in like a poster tube, so we're having to like
lay it flat,
like flatten out the uncut sheet, and then we might end up replacing
This one?
maybe.
Yeah. Get it framed up and have something different.
We'll see. Although there's a new Moshe Isley poster.
I know.
So I don't think we've mentioned that. Oh, your iPad's it's dying. We're gonna let it rest.
Yeah.
I don't know that we mentioned this. Mike came in on the live on Instagram earlier and just like
Saying all the things.
he was saying all the things, but he's not. Is he in here? He's not saying all the right things. So only listen to Mike like halfway. Mike is just like wild. But we are doing a live tomorrow on Dano's channel.
And talk about all the
Details. We've got like different packages that you can buy from Moshe Isley. It is everybody's
the whole gang.
the whole Moshe Isley planning committee. That sounds so lame. But yeah,
The party planning committee.
Party planning committee. What time? That's a great question. I think it's at 7.
Hopefully it's on time.
Oh my God. Like last time when we did the whole Thank the Maker Network. So yeah, you'll be probably in the middle of kid wrangling at that time. Let me see if I can find it. Dano, I don't think Dano's in here anymore. It'd be nice if I knew this. 7 p.m. Central. So 7 p.m. Central.
Be there.
Tomorrow. I'll try to be there. I'll hold my Bible. But yeah, it'll be fun. So we're going to be walking through the different ticket bundles that we have, just more of the details, kind of going through everything. And then tickets will be going on sale Friday for that. So it's exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always scary. But like when tickets go on sale, you're like, how's it going to do right out of the gate? It's just it's this little baby that we're nurturing. And then it's like, okay, here's our baby.
I'm just kind of like, that's cool.
I know.
Sorry.
I know. I try not to like stress you out with some of the things that we talk about, because sometimes I tell you things and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, that's too much work, bro.
That's too much. I mean, it's the biggest one we're doing. It's San Diego Comic-Con.
I know. That's cool.
Massive. But yeah, so we've got Mosh stuff going on tomorrow. It's been a busy week. Yeah.
And then this week we're working on final payments. So all you May 3rd Voyagers. Yeah, I know that's what I've been hearing you like, oh my gosh, we got to get all of them.
There's so many payments to coordinate, which is so cool because there's so many people that are coming with us on May 3rd. But the interesting part of it is like, there's so many people that are splitting rooms, which is great. That's the best way to do it, is to split a room and make it
I think
cheaper.
that's the thing, is like it's working out that way.
Yeah. So like they're getting on board, whether it's like packing out a room, splitting a room. I don't think I have anybody that's just like one person in a room, but for the people that are splitting rooms, they don't typically not typically, but they usually will not have just like one person pay for it and then everybody pays that person back, because they're internet strangers. So then I have to process 5 different payments, and like one person will have paid the deposit, but then we're going to add trip insurance at the end. So then I have to like math all of that. And like, I was trying to do it for our cabin, and I was just like, okay, cool. Yeah. I've been talking to Galen, but I've been trying to I had to come up with a little template for how to calculate all of that. And then I still check my math like 5 times before I process anybody's payment, because it's 2, 3, 4. Not my strong suit, but getting through it. We're almost done. I mean,
Very
honestly,
much.
you're not in your room all that much anyway, I don't think. So
That'll be good. So
I'm excited. We've got some fun stuff planned now that, I don't know if it's just like, I keep giving myself like, okay, once this happens, then I'll start on costumes. Once this happens, then I'll start on costumes. I'm probably not going to start on costumes till like April, and then just cry about it all month long.
I think so.
The thing is that I was too ambitious with my first costume ideas, and I don't think they were very practical. And so I have to like come up with something that I can actually execute and that is functional enough. Because I think every time I I need a holster. That's basically what I'm getting at. Is like, I need some kind of holster. Yeah, once I board the ship, God, that's like us. Our last voyage, where we're like, we don't have to show up in costume, huh? That was a big mistake. I'm just gonna be walking around in like cut off shorts.
Oh my God.
I couldn't. I was so embarrassed. And I mean, like, you don't have to dress up for Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
But just the fact that like we had built these like amazing I thought they were great costumes, and then I rolled in with like Vans and cut offs. I was like, oh my God. See, that's what I want. I want something nice and dramatic, but I want it simple. But I also need to make sure that I have something I can carry my cell phone in, because I've yet to create a costume with pockets of any sort. Oh my gosh, you cannot still be making stuff. You're about to go. Yeah, you're going like next week. Justin, you're so sweet. I will not put my procrastination on you, though. It's all me. It's just wearing the costume makes it so fun.
Yeah.
Have you come up with what you're doing yet?
I have some ideas.
Okay,
so
that's it. That's all you're gonna say about that.
I mean, I think the thing is like there's. I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words right now.
I have a Pinterest board just for. Justin, are they 4 costumes just for you or 4 costumes in total? Galen had an idea. I forget what it was. It Haley, the Halcyon cruise specialist.
Justin, that last, I want to, if you see that jacket missing, don't look over here, because I love that thing.
See, custom Mandos. Oh my gosh. Why do I even try? They're going to just come and like look amazing. Maybe I will just wear my cutoffs in my Vans. I'll be like, well, this is what I got. Yeah, that jacket is amazing. We've been trying to like learn how to pattern clothes, because we're not well, I probably sew more than you do, but you're pretty good at sewing.
Yeah.
But I would call us still like in the novice category. And then we're like, you know what we should do? We should learn how to make patterns out of our existing clothes.
No, I think the crazy thing is like watching talented people say like, yeah, just do this.
They make it
and
look so easy.
Just cut it up, and you're like, wait. Now, how do I put my shirt? how do I lay it down flat?
Right? Yeah. How do you flatten something? I don't know how to do that. Fold it in half. Which half? Ooh, Cal Kestis. That'll be fun. That's the other. Oh, Justin, you're so nice. That's the other thing, is we have costumes for Mosh too.
I know. You gotta work on that.
That's got to be after Star Cruiser.
It's gonna come fast.
I know.
So
this is what I'm learning now. Is like, we were not planning on.
I'm telling you,
cosplayers.
Like, that's what it's become. Is just we're cosplayers now, and I could understand now these cosplayers when they're you could have your staples of like, okay, I know I've done this costume, but you've got to create new.
I know. I can't be Betty Bantha every time.
Yeah.
I can't show up on the Halcyon as Betty.
So, yeah, it's been fun though. I think the thing is just being able to be creative and think of different ideas is fun. So
it is. I enjoy it. Like
that's the part where I want to like always keep it, is like, don't get too stressed. And especially like now, like this whole mantra that I have of just chilling out, that I don't,
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. I don't want to stress it if like it, something doesn't happen.
That's been something I will probably always struggle with, is like doing these costumes and having a deadline for it. Having a deadline for a costume makes it really stressful. It also makes you accountable because you have to get it done by a certain time.
Yeah.
But it's very stressful because you're like, well, I have to do all these other things and I have to make these costumes, or you think I have to make them. it's optional.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, as long as like you're enjoying it, find the joy in that.
Yeah.
And just calm down.
Relax.
Let's not talk about this weather. No snow. It's not even like there's no ice or.
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold. So it's like perfect. I'm having to roll down the sleeves on the Spirit jerseys. So
maybe we'll hold hands.
It's not that cold.
Okay.
Oof.
Ooh, that's not good. 6 degrees.
You know, I showed Sarah this TikTok, and it was people from Texas probably could relate. But it was the one where it has like the eyes cut out and the mouth cut out.
Like one of those filters where it puts your eyes and mouth on something.
And it was on a map of Texas. And it was kind of like, you know, bring it on. It had a picture of a hurricane. The guy's like, hey, I'm a hurricane. I destroy and cause damage. Texas is like, it doesn't matter. Tornado, pandemic, anything else. Like, I'm fine, whatever. And then the temperature dropping. He's like, hey, Texas, what's going on? And Texas is like, oh, I didn't know you were coming. Like, sorry. You know, he's just like real, you know, humbled. And
the cold was like, I told you next time you catch me outside, you're going to find out.
It was super funny. It cracked me up.
You've been stuck in your house for 4 days? No. Geeks saw that TikTok. I cannot do it. I always joke that my limbs will just like snap off of my body. Like I am not meant for the cold. I can't do it.
Like Terminator style. You just into a million pieces.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that reference.
Oh my gosh.
I saw Terminator when I was like a kid. Don't worry, I'll get your cane for you to go downstairs. I can't. The last time we were like, I had to go up to New York for a funeral. It was literally a year ago.
Probably around the same time.
Yeah, it was snowing. I was like, I don't know how you guys. Nope, I can't do this. It was a funeral, so it was like a sad affair. But like, I was inside as much as physically possible. I can't do it.
So.
Yeah, I'd like warm weather now. Tomorrow's Groundhog's Day.
So we'll see if it's more winter. Or
I don't remember which one is which. I don't remember if it's.
I think if he sees his shadow. What, 6 more weeks?
That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
More winter.
But is it one of those things where, because it's always 6 more weeks. So is it 6 more? Is it like one of those things where it's like half of, or 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, where it's like 6 more weeks until
they check again
spring, or 6 more weeks of winter? Like it means the same thing, but it's just like semantics of it.
I think you're looking too much into it.
Okay. Well, our son and I were having this conversation today.
Yeah, that's what I think of Groundhog's Day. It's just Bill Murray reliving it every day, getting it perfect.
I never watched that. Trogdor. It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Wait, where did we see?
Mike's. I was just made to feel super old when I found a post pointing out that Trogdor is 20 years old.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
That's not true. That's not true.
And you know what's funny? I showed you a TikTok recently with Strong Bad. Like, the system is down.
Yeah.
Like, if Mike, I know you know.
If you guys don't know, it was a website called homestarrunner.net.
It's .com. This was like Flash.
It was like the beginning of Flash.
Peak,
yeah.
Peak of Flash.
It was the beginning of like internet.
Yeah, I mean it was there.
The email. Yeah.
Yeah, the system is down, so there we go. We're getting the love.
There we go. We have our people here. Trevor, what did they do to you, Trevor?
Witches blue. But yeah, so
I bought you a Trogdor polo.
yeah, I looked clean. But just seeing the audio being used was like, oh, you're still there, Strong Bad.
Phil only has a 39% accuracy rate. It's Puxatawny Phil, right? Is it Puxatawny because of the city? The town? Yeah. Okay. Because I said Puxatawny to our kid, and he was like, what is that word?
Stinko Man shirts.
I don't know where Trogdor ended up. The Burninator. Now I've got the Trogdor song stuck in my head. We need to go. We went down the rabbit hole it was 5.
I mean, we were watching those
every week. A new email would come out.
We'd see what the new email was.
And what was it? Gotta check to see if there's a new email.
No, the females.
See if it's one from a female.
Oh, it's not a female.
And the what was it? The girls.
Oh, Teen Girl Squad.
The Teen Girl Squad.
Oh man, that was good too. I mean, right now we're just literally walking down memory lane, just talking about all that stuff.
We would just spend that was all there was to do on the internet. There's a Trogdor board game. That was all you could do. It was Homestar Runner, and then there was the really bad Flash videos where it was the
stick fighting. Remember those?
Remember the one
That's what I remember at the beginning of the internet. The stick figure fighting or stick man fighting.
I'm a little tired. It's take a nap.
Oh.
Fires and missiles.
Oh yeah, that was early YouTube.
What was the name of that one? Little brother. Anybody watching this that didn't watch Homestar Runner? Yeah. It was just this Flash website, and it was interactive, and you could click on things, and so you would learn to tab on the keyboard so you could find
the hidden
things.
Oh man, the hidden stuff was the best.
And there was this one character on there that was strong bad, and he wore a Mexican wrestling mask
with boxing gloves.
And he would read his email every week, and he would get in fights with the main character, Homestar Runner, who was just this derpy
runner
upright snake thing with a hat on. Yeah. Oh, don't even get into Ready Player One. Now we're done for the episode. That's Steven's favorite.
Yeah.
Or at least it was until Ready Player 2.
No, get out of here.
End of the world. That's what it was. Hamster dance. Yeah, I don't think, is Homestar Runner still up though? Because I thought they took it down, and you had to go into the
No, I think now
machine.
they have a YouTube page. It's just a page. They have all the emails and stuff.
Oh.
Well, because remember, I want to say that the creators were looking to make it a Nickelodeon cartoon,
or they were something in the works.
And I don't know if anything ever came of it, but I remember them going that route.
Do y'all remember the one, Charlie the Unicorn? Remember that one? It was the really adorable.
81 battery.
Weren't they they were really adorable little Happy Tree Friends.
Oh yeah. They're finding them now.
Oh really?
Yeah. I saw a video of people kind of a Happy Tree they're I'm sorry. Or no, that was a different one. But it basically they're finding the Happy Tree Friends, and they're kind of oh, look at this kid's cartoon. Oh my gosh.
Because it was just a bunch of cute little woodland creature animals. It was cartoons, but they were real dumb, and so they would get in these situations, and then they would die.
Very
incredibly gory deaths.
Yeah.
I don't know. The early internet was a weird time, and then they released them on DVDs. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because I was working at the video store, and we would rent them out all the time. Happy Tree Friends was on Comedy Central.
See, I remember it from G4.
Was it?
Yeah, that's where I remember it. I think it eventually went to Comedy Central, but
Pour one out for G4 again.
Huh?
Pour one out for G4 again. Man, I feel old. Trogdor is 20 years old.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Well, just all of our friends. Isn't it Yellow Card and Story of the Year? It's Page Avenue and Ocean Avenue's 20th anniversary this year.
I know. That's crazy.
We used to be so young, and it was just last week, it feels like.
Oh, yeah. The Red versus Blue.
Was it the Halo one?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't as into that one. I think you would show me that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
Rocket jump.
my thing. Well, the other thing is
Big screen at Spike. That sounds like a... Let's see. Happy Tree Friends played on the big screen at Spike in Mike's Sick and Twisted Cartoon Festival.
I don't know what that is. It's a lot of words that I know the words. Shmoyoho is back.
Oh, yeah.
Because they used to do Auto-Tune the News.
Well, because I think now they're like the Greg brothers. I think that's what they... Is the guys.
Ah. It's weird when, like... I don't think that we're young. Like, we're
I do. I think I'm young.
You act it sometimes, but the things that we like grew up, because we've been together for ever, and so we grew up in the early internet together, and like this was like our early times of dating. We were just like,
no, I
watching
think
these things.
I think the funny thing to me is like, you know, how we're talking about the fact that you're trying to explain the weird things that we watched, and these were like, you know, it's kind of a perfect example. Somebody was talking about remember the old Quizno commercials where there was like the real weird hamster with weird teeth and they would sing like a crazy song. It was just like very, very alt. And just trying to explain to someone now, like, yeah, this was an actual commercial that played, you know, during the Super Bowl or whatever. It's like, it's very hard to explain. So yeah, it's
yeah,
very specific, but
like, what are our kids gonna talk about?
What's their weird thing that they
on their live stream?
Yeah,
30 years from now,
I don't know.
Who knows?
The Taco Bell dogs, yeah. So it was like it's just the weird things. Like we had some weird things.
Try explaining what a wardrobe malfunction is. Oh man,
I got to see that live at Super Bowl.
What do you mean you got to see it live?
Yeah, it was on the Super Bowl. That was like the reason why
you were there.
No, I mean like on TV.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But did we watch that together?
No.
No. Oh. Yeah, it was like the most TiVo'd, like the most replayed clip in TiVo. Like TiVo, remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, so speaking of like TiVo and the fact that we all hated cable, and then we created this monster of like 50,000 streaming services, and each of them has one good thing. So if you want to watch it, you have to subscribe to all 50,000 of them.
And it's going to end up being that same cable bill that you were paying before.
We're all going to go back to cable eventually, I'm sure. But hey, Jacob, you sent me a TikTok, and I don't know how valid this is.
This is like fresh.
Super fresh. For Netflix, and it was called the Netflix Household. And so you have to, from what I could understand in the TikTok, because I was like 50% paying attention, was like you designate a Netflix household, which is the Wi-Fi on which your Netflix can be used. And every 30 days, I don't know if it's like a rolling 30 or whatever, but like the devices that are on that Wi-Fi watching Netflix stay active, and anything that's not on that Wi-Fi network cannot access that Netflix account.
That's crazy.
It's wild. So there's people in the comments that were like, if you're going to, like, what if you're like a college kid?
You got to get your own account.
You're like 18 years old.
I mean,
living with some stranger in some tiny dorm. Like,
I think that's when decisions are going to be made, and people are going to really evaluate, like, is it worth it? Or, you know, if it's a show, then let me get it when I want to watch that show, and then cancel it. Because
Netflix is expensive.
Yeah.
We pay the most for that one, and I think we're paying like $18 for it right now.
Yeah. See, I think, it's just that's when decisions are made, and you're just kind of like, I'll wait.
Yeah, that's the problem, Mike, is that I've been subscribed to Netflix since it was DVDs, like before it was even Blu-rays. and you could have like the options where you can have one DVD out at a time or 2 DVDs out at a time. And I was like, I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm going to have 2. But I think this is going to be really bad for Netflix. We don't watch anything really on Netflix anymore.
Oh man, I remember GameFly. I mean, I never used it.
What was GameFly?
Where you would get the game? Is the
Same
Netflix,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And even further, you want to go to Sega Channel where it was the same thing, but you played it like on your Sega.
Oh, weird. Still have a friend that gets Netflix movies sent to him? How is that an option? And remember, you have
can.
a queue?
You could, yeah. So you just like move stuff up.
Yeah. And then they would be scratched. Redbox, yeah, they've taken out red boxes. I've noticed like there's less and less Redbox boxes. Blockbuster had a service. So many discs. See, I used to work for a video rental store. And so
You would rewind the DVDs.
I would sit there and watch it just to make sure it went back to the beginning. But we had to rewind the VHS tapes back then too.
You put them in the machine.
But that was like the best part. It was not Family Video. That was the best part of working there. It's like you just got to rent videos for free. And like if it hadn't come out yet, you got to like watch it before it came out.
That's cool.
That was fun.
Yeah, because it was before it would, there was no way to get. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get it.
They're bringing back Toys R Us. I think, did they say it at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade that in every single Macy's in the country now there's a Toys R Us store? Indeed.
That's interesting.
I didn't know that they were doing that. And then I had gone to Macy's for something. I go to Macy's like maybe once a year. And I was just like wandering. And I was like, what is that? I felt like a kid. And I was just
All
like
the
wandering
toys.
around. And there were so many toys and it was so well stocked.
I don't think it's going to ever be the same of just like walking into an entire store that is.
They have a full Toys R Us.
Yeah.
So is American Dream Mall the one with the real Beast Burger? And like the one where Mr. Beast did that video where people had to hide in the mall for.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yes,
so
we need to go there.
But yeah, just walking into a Toys R Us it was a different experience. So
yeah. We got to have it with our son for like a little. He doesn't remember it.
Yeah. It was around for a little bit.
It was cool to like go in as a parent to Toys R Us because you could be like, I have money now. The pool cabanas. What is this mall? Adler, that is. Justin, you're such a... Okay, I will. You mean like, who did it? Like, Jonathan Adler Company went and did the pool cabanas? Justin's just like far cooler than we could ever be.
Exactly. Bob, want to grow up. Maybe that's why, like oh yeah, it's, remember they talked about like the millennials, buying toys and stuff like that?
What about it?
Like basically like that they're the big generator of buying toys. And it's probably because we were all Toys R Us kids. We didn't want to grow up.
And then they took toys away from us.
And they took it away from us.
Because I don't know if you guys go to like, we mostly just shop at Target when we don't leave our house as much as possible. But when we do, if I do need to go shopping somewhere, it's typically Target.
You got to stop at the toy section.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's like if you're in your grandma's neighborhood, you have to go visit your grandma. Like it's just one of those things you have to go do it. But the Target toy sections are not good. They're not good.
Not as good as they used to be.
Like I don't really like to go to Walmart, but I went to Walmart because that's where they sell Mr. Beast Feastables. But Walmart's toy section was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And a lot better stocked.
I think they need to have more toy sections and more toy stores.
Yeah. Well, like Best Buy started doing toy sections,
Hey,
which was odd.
I think they're just seeing that, hey, there's a market there.
Yeah.
So they started because they pick up a lot of the toys that I would buy, right?
The techie toys. Is that
techie
what you're
toys,
trying to say? Yeah, it's been
Force
like
Awakens was good because I remember it was nice and packed.
but it's been like in the last 2 to 3 years that we've seen like Target's toy section decline. Like when they were doing Force Fridays and they would have new things coming out every week, they would stock the shelves.
I remember like it was the prequels time, but there was so like going to KB Toys at the mall, and there was so much Power of the Force figures. Like that was where I would just like be in awe of just the section, like the Star Wars figures, because it was always full. It was just like that middle section, just ton of them.
Oh,
And so you're just like thumbing through them, trying to look for one that you want. Try to ask mom for it, type of thing. But like that's what I remember of being really at the toy store.
KB Toys. Disney store. Yeah, there's only a few Disney stores.
Well, see, those are doing in Targets now, but it's not the same.
And they're putting those in like every Target.
So there was that. Remember, there was the Warner Brothers stores.
Yeah.
So
Not anymore.
things change. Hey,
Kitra's
Kitra.
here. Kitra, this is an absolute complete sidebar, but Kitra reposted on TikTok this TikTok of this little baby red panda eating grapes. And our kids, we were watching TikToks together, and our kids were just like, I want one. They want not the grapes, they want like a red panda.
Oh, Circus City, yeah. They had the beef with Best Buy, so it was like the red versus blue.
Yeah. Circuit City was weird vibes though, because like you would walk in and like somebody would basically follow you around for the
No,
sale.
but see, Circuit City was very much like that old school electronics store, where like it was more.
Like it felt futuristic and old at the same time in Circuit City to me.
Yeah, I guess.
Like it was very gray inside. That's all I really remember from it.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it
like
was
shaped like a diamond.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
like a plug. Remember the commercial?
Oh yeah.
So, see, we didn't have any big Radio Shacks. It was definitely the place to go for.
They were literal shacks.
Yeah, but they were like the best place to go for like very specific electronic things. Like if you needed a plug, I remember an uncle needing like just the plug, not the whole cord or whatever.
See, now they're getting into like bookstores. That's what I was, when you were talking about like KB Toys, I remember going into KB Toys, but there was a bookstore right next door, and I would always be in the bookstore.
Well, there was a couple bookstores in the mall. It was like two different.
Well, and there were always two toy stores in the mall, remember? There would be like KB, and then there would be like some weird
Other one?
other one, like on the other side of the mall where the other bookstore was.
Yeah.
Now it's all just like, I don't know.
But it was different too, because like, I remember, basically showing up with my mom, and they're like, "Hey, could we go to the toy store?" Boom, we were gone. And
Yeah.
nowadays, that wouldn't fly.
Books A Million, we did have Books A Million.
So, and there was there's arcades. So it was like
movie theaters
Yeah.
in the mall.
So, I think that's the thing is like, it just wouldn't. It's not the same now. you wouldn't just like, or like your mom just dropping you off at the mall with you and your friends.
But how old were you when that started happening?
I want to say like 9, 10.
No way.
Yeah, like it was young.
Dang.
So
Nah.
nah.
Nah. Remember watching the OG Land Before Time in the mall?
Oh, FAO Schwartz was like fancy. I remember going in one of those, but I was like,
We have them here? We didn't have
we
them
had,
here.
yeah,
Oh.
near the big mall.
We never.
Yeah.
We never.
I remember they had the, that little kind of the trapeze toy going across like that, and the train on the top.
Oh.
And they had the piano.
Right.
So,
You have to, right?
yeah.
See, but the main one, didn't it used to be a Toys R Us, or was it always an FAO Schwartz?
Which one?
The
big one?
Yeah.
No, it was an FAO.
Oh.
And then it went away.
Oh. What did the big Toys R Us become in Times Square? It became something else.
Oh, you're talking about that one. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. we were not, we were Toys R Us kids.
Consumers of those fancy toys.
I just had my
The
Barbies.
wooden toys.
No, I had Barbies. That was my jam. Barbies and Beanie Babies. Oh man. I found this like really wonderful side of TikTok, and it's for like 90s baby, like not 90s babies, like people that grew up in the 90s. And it's just like they just share toys that we had back then.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're like, I'm about to unlock a memory you didn't even know you had. And it was like the jar of baby food, and it was like cherries or something, and you would put it was like all plastic.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
put the
okay.
stick,
Yeah.
You put the spoon in, and when you put the spoon in, it would click something, you'd pull it out, and it was cherries.
Oh.
You would have birthday parties at McDonald's. Like
Yeah.
People were excited to have birthday parties at McDonald's. Like you don't have birthday parties there anymore. And like even like the kids' play areas.
The Mickey D's ashtrays.
But do they even have like the play spaces?
Probably on older ones. I don't know.
I don't know if they're open though, because like during the pandemic, they were like, "This is the worst idea ever." That's cute. I want a Happy Meal box McDonald's. They're kind of depressing.
So
Oh man, Beanie Babies at Goodwill. That hurts my heart. That's like the one thing.
they're gonna be worth so much.
It was an
I've got
investment. And they would come out. I think they would come out every Tuesday or Wednesday, and we had like an in with the guy at the mall that would get the shipments in.
I got the newest babies in.
Come check these babies out. I had some good ones. I had the Princess Di one. I had the frog. I had some.
Yeah.
They're probably worth like
Yes, Danny, I would agree.
dollars at this point. Probably pretty much. That's why millennials like NFTs. They're just like Beanie Babies. Oh man. Was able to buy her first car by selling her Beanie Babies. And then McDonald's, remember McDonald's had Beanie Babies as their toys, but they were like miniature ones.
Oh, the Monopoly game. I remember that being like a crazy thing. Hamburger.
I did see the Hamburglar one, and then they also have one that looks like a Happy Meal box.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really cool, but it's not like a typical lounge fly where it's like made of leather. Like it was almost like a hard case one, I think. But I saw it and I was like, oh, that's real cute. I was like, that's a cute McDonald's tray. I was like, wait a second. That's a bag.
Yeah, they had real Hot Wheels. Like they were like real toys.
I think that's the one thing that like kids these days, they miss out on is like they were not forced to watch cartoons like or commercials like we were, because commercials were just like, we were sold, like we say now, like TikTok made me buy it, but like that's because we're conditioned to be this way.
That commercial, you're like, oh my gosh, look at that, I want that.
Because you would know when
it drives on the wall.
You would know when like the Happy Meal toys were gonna drop, and like they would show you all the cool things, and like, you know, what was it, like not an accurate depiction of the product, but you were just like, oh my god. And so then you would just beg your parents to take you. Yeah, Burger King had great stuff. 80s cartoons were 30-minute commercials. Well, that's what it is. Like it's like a third of a 30-minute show is commercials. They were our influencers. And now
Good old times.
you skip past them after 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm too impatient.
I know. Look at us.
What have we become?
But I think that's a good place to peace out for the night.
Yeah,
This
that was fun.
This was fun.
It was nice catching up with everyone.
Gonna
Good
go
to
drink
see
a
you.
tab. I have a Mr. Pibb. But yeah, so we'll be back next week. We already have our episode. You're almost done editing it.
Yeah. So new episode next week.
And then I will be live with
Tomorrow.
The Mosh, whatever we call ourselves. We don't have a name.
The Moshers.
The Mosh people. Tomorrow on Dano's channel, 7 p.m. Central. Probably. I think that's the time we decided on. That's the time Dano has up.
Check Dano's channel.
Hopefully we're there on time.
They're going to have it.
We'll see. All right. Take care, guys. It was great as always. Until next time.